What are the career opportunities in patent law?
Patent examiners work within the patent office to grant patents, whereas patent agents are people who assist companies and individuals in getting their patents granted. Law firms that have a IPR division or essentially intellectual property rights division will require patent professionals in their firm.
What resources or material do you recommend if one thinks to prepare for attending the exam of a patent agent?
There are several international agreements and organizations such as WIPO, TRIPS agreement, and Patent Cooperation Treaty or Paris Convention Treaty. So these again essentially provide a deep understanding of how the patenting world works.
I think significantly you are working on more than 10 plus inventions which are in pipeline, ranging in the different fields like smart agri-technology, bioplastic, sustainable living, renewable energy solutions, drone technology, and many more.
Patenting field is very rewarding for those people who are easily bored, essentially. So I was one of those people who was easily bored all the time. Key thing to remember is that patent laws are not very complex and they're not vast to understand or implement. Only the basic understanding is required of how the patent laws work.
One can use patent as a legal and financial weapon to block competitors and protect their R&D investment.
They have complete monopoly over that invention, as well as they make sure that no other competitor can make minor tweaks to that invention and come into the market.
Hi everyone, welcome to Law Over Coffee, the podcast where we explore trends, career, and opportunities shaping the legal world. I'm your host Anand Verma, founder Let's Learn Law. This is the very first episode of Law Over Coffee, where we will brew insightful conversation around technology, law, innovation, and evolving world of intellectual property. Whether you are a student exploring career opportunities or industry professional navigating patent landscape, this is the podcast where we will simplify the complex topics in a way that become more engaging, practical, and will be conversant with the fast changing scenario. Today, we will dive deep into the fascinating world of patent law, what a patent means, what opportunity it holds, what are the career opportunities a patent law holds, what earning potential it has, how you can become a patent agent, how you can become international patent expert. Joining us today, Mr. Kalyan P, an international patent consultant advising Fortune 500 companies, tech enthusiasts, startups, and various corporate clients. So settle in, grab your coffee, settle in, and let's unravel the fascinating world of patent with our guest Kalyan P, who will guide us through the insightful conversation. Mr. Kalyan, over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Anand, for inviting me for this inaugurative event of Law Over Coffee. I'm very delighted to be here on the very first episode of Law Over Coffee, and I would take this opportunity to essentially enlighten and express how the patent field works and how patent laws are actually utilized by the companies or entrepreneurs in the real world scenario. So I'm really delighted to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Kalyan, and we are also very much delighted to have you on the show. And today, as you know, that we are navigating through the patent landscape. So our listeners are from the diverse backgrounds, especially the students from law, science, and other streams who are interested in patent laws. So let's start from the very basics. What is patent law and how one can obtain a patent? So I would like to hear your views on this.
Yes. So, patent is basically a negative legal right given to a person, individual, or a company to restrict others from using, selling, manufacturing this particular invention that you have been granted a patent for. And again, it is for only a term of 20 years from the initial filing. So essentially, as the term itself states, the invention needs to be having some kind of a innovative feature to it. So either it has to be there is a eligibility criteria regarding the patent grant. So the eligibility criteria stands that invention needs to be novel, have an inventive step, and be having industrial utility essentially, right? So generally speaking, all inventions have an industrial utility, whether it be this mug that is the here, which has the utility of containing a liquid, or and it enables a person to have a drink, or whether it be this mic, which is carrying my sound through this device towards your listeners. And then again, as we see that there are several other criteria that are there regarding the industrial applicability. But coming to the main point by which you can get a grant would be novelty and the inventive step. So novelty is something that is new. So anything that has some percentage of newness in it can be considered to have a novelty. Whereas inventive step is something where it requires significant subjective and objective analysis of this particular criteria. So for example, let's take this mic stand here. So if a person wants to innovate over this device, he will have to increase the novelty and inventive step of this device by adding some component to it. Let's say he adds a telescopic part here so that the this joint's height may be raised even further to a custom height. Or you can say that there may be other things, maybe let's say this rod is a solid rod. So and then another inventor may add a cushion over this rod so that someone doesn't hit their head or something by
Okay,
mistake.
so
So similarly,
to make it more simple, anything which does not exist before.
correct. But
So
however,
this is for our listeners that
yes,
that's we have to innovate something that does not
yes,
exist before,
correct.
so that you can get a patent of.
But again, inventive step can be having a, you can say, issue. Like let's say there is this mug already invented. So this is a circular mug. It has a circle profile. So let's say someone invents a square mug, right?
Okay.
So square mug is novel. However, in the eyes of a patent examiner or attorney, this square will not be inventive enough, because they will say that it is obvious over the previous invention. So this is where again understanding patent laws and the arguments, legal arguments that can be made to get the inventive step is essential to get a
Okay.
patent.
So this is getting excited for our listeners because what a patent, the basics, as you told. So uh, for our listeners, I would want to place a question that what are the career opportunities in patent law?
Right. So there are several opportunities when it comes to patent law itself and the patent practice of patents. So first of all, I think we can start with the government recognized patent agents and patent examiners, especially in India. And they are people who are gonna be working for the government indirectly or indirectly. So patent examiners work within the patent office to grant patents, whereas patent agents are people who assist companies and individuals in getting their patents granted. And then there will be a second cadre, whereas which is coming into the, you can say, law firms. So law firms that have a IPR division or essentially intellectual property rights division will require patent professionals in their firm to cater to these services. Then we have specifically corporate services, opportunities, wherein we have essentially IP cells or legal cells within the company that directs the company's essentially activities and future prospects, and even to much extent dictates the policies that the company will go through based on the IPR analysis and IPR landscape. Then coming to the, you can say, fourth option would be a entrepreneur or let's say a startup, tech startup, wherein there is again huge potential for people having a deep understanding of how the patent landscape works or patenting works. because they can essentially in these firms, multifaceted or multi-skilled people are hired nowadays. Due to the small scale of their operations. So that is where patent professional can shine once again. And then there is also another opportunity which is related to individual growth or individual upskillment, you can say, by understanding the patent laws, as these patent laws can help you understand what kind of inventions will work in the market, what kind of inventions can be secured, and in which way they can be secured from your competitors, and how you can monetize this uh, essentially the patent rights that you have obtained. So these could be few of the career options.
Okay, so what I understand that out of the various career opportunities which you told, that one of the patent agent is also one of the important career options, and our listeners would love to hear that how one could become a patent agent, what opportunities it hold, and what is the role and importance of a patent agent under the patent law. Because why I am putting it this question, because uh, today we are into the era of startups and in entrepreneurship. So startups, any startups, they everybody has some product. Every entity has a startup has a product. They work on the product day and night, but one of the major thing uh, they lose out is to get their product or their process or their invention protected.
Hmm.
So, in relevance to this, I would like to hear about, for my listeners, about the patent agent.
So essentially, patent agent is essentially recognition by the government of India in Indian sphere, wherein the patent agent exam is conducted by the government every 2 to 3 years in India. So the next exam is supposed to happen in January 2026, and for that again, yeah, the course syllabus and other things are available on the government website. So this exam is conducted by the Controller General of Trademarks, Patents and Designs, and they have the examination structure generally has three tiers. So there is one part A, paper one, wherein you will have a MCQ type of examination, wherein you will be uh, asked about and tested on the Indian Patent Act and the patent rules that are governing the patent laws in India. And then the paper two will be mostly about drafting a patent application, which in which it includes how you would be explaining your patent for the grant of the patent. So essentially, the drafting plays a major role in whether your patent will get granted or not in the end. Then a third part will be the viva voce, where we'll have a one-on-one with the Controller General of Patents in India, wherein we will have interview to assess whether you are having the right knowledge and the right ethics and morals to become a recognized patent agent in India. So then again, there is something called the eligibility criteria for this. So the eligibility criteria for the patent agent will require them to be, first of all, above 21 years and be an Indian citizen to be an Indian patent agent. And the third requirement is that they need to have any kind of a technical background. So by technical background, I mean any kind of a technical graduation degree, such as BSc, MSc, MTech, BTech, PhDs, or even it could be a dual degree uh, pursuing a techno-legal subject. Yeah.
Okay, so that is that is very intense, but I think with the right strategy, one can manage to be a patent agent. So, what resources or material do you recommend if one thinks to prepare for attending the exam of a patent agent?
So for this, I would say that first of all, we need to be well abreast with the Indian Patent Act and the Indian patent rules, which have been last updated in 2024, as I remember. And then afterwards, apart from this, there are several other, you can say, materials that can be studied or understood by the person to have a deeper understanding of how the domain works. So this would include essentially manual for patent examination or manual for patent examination and practices. And then again, there are several international agreements and organizations such as WIPO, TRIPS agreement, and Patent Cooperation Treaty or Paris Convention Treaty. So these again essentially provide a deep understanding of how the patenting world works, and again they move towards enhancing one's uh, skills towards protecting the invention globally, not just in India.
Okay, so this is the fantastic piece of information on the for a patent agent. But as at the start of the podcast, we told our listeners that not only as a patent expert, you can also domestically, you can also be a patent expert internationally. You can work on international patents also. So what kind of, so the major part is that anyone, if you anyone chooses this career path to get himself engaged in a patent law, so he or she must want to know that what is the pay or what is the expected income when one start the career in the middle point of the career, or to what height a person could achieve becoming a patent expert, or you can say a patent consultant or an international patent professional.
Right. So essentially, patents are considered as financial drivers. So of course, there is lot of monetary aspect that goes around along with patents. So first of all, let's say for an entry level patent professional or a patent professional aspirant, they would, if they have basic understanding of patent laws, even if they're not a registered patent agent, they can start earning between 3 to 5 lakhs rupees per annum in India as entry level employee. And then within 2 to 3 years, the person with essentially much experience, and again depending on the type of technical background they have, can go up to 6 to 12 lakhs per annum as their salary within the first 2 to 3 years.
Within the starting part of the career.
Yes.
Okay.
And then as we go on, we will see that several much significantly experienced patent professionals and patent attorneys, etc., will be even charging on an hourly rate, such as I have known people who have charged up to $240 per hour towards clients in India and in abroad, as well as there are certain other aspects like, let's say a patent professional can charge anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 per patent application for conducting the patent process for any client or industry. Then also, if you are very good at your job and you have good decision making skills and you are very good at analyzing the intellectual property scenario and the patent landscape itself, you can even earn up to 60 lakhs in rupees, 60 lakhs per annum within India, as many of my colleagues are earning as R&D heads or IP cell directors within India.
That is very interesting. So at the same time, it also depends on their skill set. That it depends on person to person, that how much skill or upskilling at you, as in the earlier part of your answer you said that upskilling is also very much important. So not only choosing a career is important, but how you get yourself upskilled in that uh, law or in that act or in that process, that is very much important. What is your take on this?
Of course, because when we are, let's say, as personally, I'll take my own example. So I used to work for Rolls Royce and I used to work for Ford, who were the clients of my IP firm where I was employed at about 5 6 years ago. So at that time, I was very, you can say, liked or was in the, you can say, in the spotlight. I was in the spotlight in that case where because I was very good at understanding how turbine engines work. So without a deep understanding of how a turbine engine works, I would be of no benefit to Rolls Royce to conduct their patent analysis, or help them in drafting their patent applications, or making a IP based strategy for the future. So similarly, when I was working for Ford, I had a deep understanding of how battery technologies work, and again, I had a deeper understanding of how the Chinese market is operating, and what kind of battery leaders are there in China. So I understood the market analysis part also, as well as the technology analysis. Only then I could use this patent knowledge that I had, the patent law knowledge, to actually apply it to provide them with a IP strategy.
Yeah, because we all know that you have many patents in your name, ranging
Yes.
from aircraft propulsion technology to smart storage solutions. And I think significantly you are working on more than 10 plus inventions which are in pipeline, ranging in the different fields like smart agri technology, bioplastic, sustainable living, renewable energy solutions, drone technology, and many more. So, technologically, you can also guide our listeners that what it takes to be, how you could do all these different things. And so, I think again it will come up as skilling, the skill set.
Of
Once you
course,
enter into
yeah.
an arena of a patent law, then there are plethora of things where you can work on, where you can learn, and then you can take yourself to anywhere you want in this field.
Of course, of course. This is a very important point actually. I think very few people understand this, that patenting field is very rewarding for those people who are easily bored, essentially. So I was one of those people who was easily bored all the time. So I used to work for Maruti Suzuki and Toyota before coming into this patent domain. So if, even the let's say IC engine or other complex mechanical inventions may seem very complex when you're not from the field. But as a engineer, I got very, you can say, very easily bored after 3 months, because I already knew what components were there, how they were working, and what the process was. So it became very monotonous for me. Whereas when you come to the patenting field, the work is never monotonous. It's always adventurous, and you will get to see a diverse range of clients. So I have worked for tobacco companies, I have worked for cosmetic companies like L'Oreal, I have worked for Microsoft and Cisco, who are from the computer science background. So there's a lot of diversity. But in all, the key thing to remember is that patent laws are not very complex, and they're not vast to understand or implement. Only the basic understanding is required of how the patent laws work. And then if you are curious enough, or and have enough basic technical understanding, you can always make this career a wonderful career by essentially applying those patent laws that I just explained onto these technologies on a limited in a limited time window, essentially. Because once the, let's say I'm working for a tobacco company, I have done the patent research and filed their patent, so that case is over now. So maybe the next client will be a renewable energy resources client, and they want me to work on a solar cell. So the work is always exciting, and of course mentally rewarding, because you have this essentially feeling that you have achieved something, and you have understood these new technologies. And again, you have this pride when that technology comes into the market, that yes, I knew that this technology was going to come 3 years before anyone even knew about it. So it sort of has its own, you can say, aura of power, I guess.
Very interesting piece of knowledge our listeners are getting. So, Kalyan, I would like to shift the focus a little bit from the beginners, learners to the startups, entrepreneurs. So, what monetary opportunities a business owner or a startup can take advantage of?
Right. So this is exactly where patent laws and the entire patenting domain comes into play, because when you have a patent, essentially, what you are doing is that you are excluding everyone else, all the other competitors, from entering that market. So let's say I have invented this mug, and in this specific, let's say, of course, assume that mugs didn't exist before. So let's assume this is the first mug in the world, and we have got a patent, of course, because of that, because it's a novel invention and it has inventive step. So let's say the inventive, because of course again containers were there previously. So we have attached this kind of a handle to it. So the handle increases the utility of the container, that now a person can just tilt the handle and have a drink, and it also makes it easier to hold the mug. So it's just a simple invention. However, it will change in a way that every other company which was just making glasses without any handle will now be completely out of this market, and you will have complete monopoly over this market where you have a handle attached to the container. So this way you can again license out your patent rights once you have gotten your patents. So that is the primary mode of how people make money from a patent. So in licensing agreements, you can again have lump sum amounts, wherein you take a lump sum amount in the beginning itself, or you can have royalty based amounts. So let's take an example here of you would know about aluminum tin cans, right, for
Yeah,
beverages,
yeah.
right? So they have essentially the opening of that can has a mechanism
The
which,
can, the soft drink cans and all.
of course,
Yeah.
the soft
Hmm.
drink cans like
Hmm.
Coke, Pepsi,
Yeah,
etc.
exactly.
So these cans have a lid wherein you just tear off the ring on top of it, and it tears. So this has to do with mechanical invention, which is plant failure. So since it's a sheet metal, they have made a groove wherein the thickness of the metal is very thin. So essentially, when you apply a little bit of pressure, it tears. So that's how this invention works. And the person who invented this, he I think got some cents, a few cents per can. But again, you need to understand how many cans were
Exactly.
sold in those 20
The
years.
voluminous
Of course,
amount.
of course.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if let's say 10 billion cans were sold in 20 years, so that person easily has made $1 billion, right? So again, the actual amount of licensing fees and the royalty, it varies largely based on the actual technology, actual market, and again the amount of you can say uh, contact that that invention has with people in itself. So this is again one aspect. There is a second aspect also, monetarily speaking, that when a patent is there for a company, that company has a significantly higher chance of attracting a suitable investor, or it could also help them in getting a bank loan. So, in for example, in US, on average, a company or a individual can get up to $10 million on a granted US patent, and at least they would get $1 million of loan. So that is a significant chunk of amount that you can then reinvest in production of your invention or the product itself. Yeah.
Okay, so very incredible information. So uh, I am thinking then if even if you don't manufacture, then also you can earn out of your innovation, isn't it?
Of course, of course. So this is again a very interesting question that you have asked, because what happens is that when a company has patents, they can actually stop others from manufacturing. So even if they themselves do not manufacture, they can still hinder others from manufacturing, selling that particular invention which they have patented. So there is also, I think I should have mentioned this before. There is also one more aspect, that there is no requirement for you to actually create your product or prototype it before you go for a patent, because actually that negates the whole idea. Because if you're let's say this coffee mug again, it has been already invented or has been already been used in the market, then it will not be able to be patented in India. Especially in US, you still have 1 year of you can say time period, wherein you grace period, you can say, wherein you can use your product for a year and then go for a patent. But in India, the laws are quite stricter, and even in Europe you have just 6 months, or in Japan also is 6 months. So it is better to just file a patent first and then go for the actual product making or prototyping, or again actually using it or selling that product in the market or bringing it to the public. So this aspect ties into the patent laws in a way that you do not require the product. So that frees up the company or the owner of the patent from actually manufacturing it. He can just hire another company and get a royalty deal with them, or again they can sell the entire patent itself. So there are many companies even which are called patent trolls. So these patent troll companies, they essentially just do this, that they buy patent rights from people, they analyze the market, they find out the key patents that will make a lot of money in the future, and then they'll hoard those patents, and then they will not actually manufacture anything. They will just stop others from manufacturing, and they will impose on other companies which are in the domain that you are infringing on our patents. So they'll use essentially litigation, infringement, and these kind of patent legal suits to make their majority of their revenue.
Okay, so one can use patent as a legal and financial weapon to block competitors and protect their R&D investment. Is it this can be done?
Of course, of course. So this is exactly how patents are used by majority of Fortune 500 companies, where let's say they have invented this mug. Their patent will not say that it has a circular profile. It will say that they have a square profile. It will also say they have a pentagonal profile. So they'll try to capture the invention in every possible way, so that they have complete monopoly over that invention, as well as they make sure that no other competitor can make minor tweaks to that invention and come into the market. So patents are essentially weapons in a way. As in the beginning I said, it's a negative right. So it is not positive for the society. That is why it is negative. However, this is again the reason why they came into play during the 1474, I think, in the Venetian Republic, where the first patent was ever granted during the Renaissance period. So why patents had been brought up was that many of the Renaissance artists and engineers and philosophers were taking their ideas to their graves. So society was not actually benefiting from their intelligence or their innovative thoughts, because and those people were greedy essentially, that they were thinking in terms of that if I tell others, what is the benefit to me. To overcome this, the patent laws had initially started, that to make sure that the inventor at least tells others what inventions they have, and they get in return a period of security and stability to make some kind of funds for that.
Okay, so this is going very interesting, Kalyan, and thanks for your such insightful conversation. Coming to the closer of the end of the podcast, I think this is the last question I am putting in. That and this should be here because AI is a buzzword today. Okay, AI
Right, right,
everywhere.
right.
From last, I think 1.5 years or 2 years, it has been in our in every domain. So, first thing, how AI is gonna assist the patent professional, and the most important thing, the everywhere in every sector where AI is being introduced, the first question everyone is asking, whether it will going to take my job. So what effect it has in the field of patent law, because we are um, informing, we are sharing knowledge to our listeners. So this is very much important because this is the era of AI, and how the future in the patent law the AI beholds.
So yeah, this is a very, you can say, legitimate question that you should ask. So in this case, I want to first of all take your doubts off. Like no, AI is not gonna take patent professionals' jobs in the anytime soon. First of all, because the understanding of artificial intelligence is itself wrong, in my opinion, because AI is not actually an intelligence. AI currently, as we have it, is essentially a collection of repository, you can say, of all the entire knowledge that we have right now. And again, it's you can say interactive knowledge which we can question and get some answers from. However, real intelligence, which is the human innovation, the human ability to think outside the box, and have bring out creative solutions for existing problems is something that AI cannot replicate at the current level, at least. So for that, first of all, it will require to gain a consciousness, and then maybe it will be anywhere close. Coming to the again the assistance that a patent professional can have. So from the as working the field, I can tell you that there are now several AI assisted tools for patent professionals, from the searching analysis part to even the patent drafting part. So of course, yeah, they reduce your time significantly, where it took me 1 week for conducting a search analysis to identify whether my client's patent is novel or not. Now I can do that work in 1 to 2 days using the AI tools and digital infrastructure that is there right now. And again, when it comes to drafting of these patent applications also, because as I said, like you have to go through all kinds of iterations of that core invention in order to be able to protect it in every significant embodiment or way, so that competitors do not infringe. So there again, AI comes in as a, you can say, a godsend, that it assists in summarizing, assists in making sure all the points are clearly explained in the drafts. So AI can be a very good helper for a patent drafter. And then again, you require that human intelligence in the end to make sure that yes, the draft is in correct order, and then again it follows the patent laws and norms. And also there are again like landmark cases, IPR landmark cases, which are gonna dictate how a word is supposed to be framed, or how a legal jargon has to be framed, or how lexical instruments can be used. So all these things are of course where human intelligence comes into play. So that is why I believe at least patent professionals are safe from the AI encroachment of their jobs. So yeah.
Brilliantly put up, Kalyan. And I sincerely hope that this conversation inspire our listeners, especially the students from law, science, and technology background, and they will consider patent as a serious career path. The intersection of law, technology, and innovation, what it makes this career very interesting. And this has been such an insightful conversation, and I believe that many of our listeners will walk away with fresh and practical understanding of what it means to be a patent expert, patent consultant, a patent agent, or an international patent professional, and the opportunities it opens up, isn't it?
Of course, of course. I'm really glad to be here in this event, and I hope really that all your listeners at least have some curiosity related to patents now, and they try to explore the patenting domain. As well as I want to put a point here that a person need not be a patent professional to know the patent law or understand the patent law, even if they are, let's say, a farmer who is not educated much. Even if they have a small idea that improves the production of certain plant, or let's say eases in water irrigation methods, that could be a which is essentially in India we call jugaad. So that jugaad, if it is really novel and inventive, then of course it can be patented, and that person can make significant amount of money just by patenting that technology. So I would like to thank you for this opportunity once again.
Thanks. We are also privileged to have you on the first episode of Law Over Coffee. And to our listeners, if you are passionate about law, technology, and innovation, then this could be a career path for you. And if you want to learn more in depth about patent law, then you may follow us. And thanks for tuning in to the first episode of Law Over Coffee. Until next time, stay curious and keep growing your wisdom. Thank you.